I doing today? Am I live on Twitch? I am live on Twitch. Am I live on YouTube? It is waiting for me. Are we looking? Are we looking? There we go. All right. What did I finish yesterday? I did yesterday. We did the world map generated at runtime. We did the coastline fall off map plus corner fall off cases. Or in the ordinal directions. And we got the player cursor on the world, first of all, we got world map UI done. We got player cursor on world map. We got player chunk cord on the world map. I did player rotation on the cursor. What else happened? Oh, I did the player teleport as well. That seemed to work okay for now. That'll need a refactor. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do here? I wanted to fix the colonist AI, because that's all broken. That'll be free chopping and construction. Oh, and I need to put some I used to have mushrooms. Can we pet a dog yet? What does that mean? You want to get my puppy in here? Or do you want to pet the dog in game? What else was I gonna say? Oh, I needed to put this should probably be first. I need to put interactable foliage in game, and this will be like before I just had mushrooms in game, so people I don't know. I think if I had I need a puppy cam for my dogs when they come in here. It'll be like below my desk. There's a little dog bed down here. I think I could really get some shameless engagement from having a dog cam. But yeah, all that stuff is like, it all comes down to like what animations I have, you know? It's like animating things is so hard. And I try to do it on my own and it just takes for fucking ever. And anything that looks wonky in the game is probably because I tried to make the animation myself instead of like buying one or finding a free one. Yeah, there's nothing else it would be for. That's that you know, the kind of cam you're talking about, that might be a sub goal in the future if we ever get there. Where do I want to start today? Yeah, I think doing the this is probably the closest to finishing up what I had yesterday. Let me take a look at that. The motion match locomotion animals we got yesterday. It's Polycube. Hey, how you doing? We are making games. Specifically, I'm gonna finish up my little world map work I did here. But what are you talking about? The motion matching locomotion anims? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Like 500 anims with vaulting built in? Is this an Unreal Engine thing? But yeah, so I have my world map here on the right, and that's a procedurally generated texture at runtime based on it's based on like an offset, but it can be seeded, and that's what I'm going to work on today is seeding it and then also making the cursor. It's really tiny on screen. It's an Unreal demo project. I'll definitely have to check that out because animations are something I struggle to find. Stream asset flips will be able to trick even more people. I don't know. I mean, I think smart buyers, smart gamers don't actually fall for that. I mean, of course, there's many people that fall for that, but I don't know. It becomes pretty evident. Just the asset flips. Thankfully, I'm using the ALS movement component plugin, and so I have all like my locomotion and stuff. But I need like what I'm needing now is more like attack animations, things like that. But I'll definitely have to check that out. More animations are always things I'm looking after. I've used a lot of the Mixamo assets and just retargeted them to the skeletons that I use. But yeah, what I want to do now, I think I should make the cursor a little bigger. You guys probably can't even see that on screen, but it's like, it's right here. This is what I'm looking at. And so this updates based on the chunk. So each of these like terrain chunks has a coordinate. Like this one is 3-1. And so it should say player is on chunk core 3-1 at the top there. And it just puts the cursor on the chunk. But I think what I want to do is, you know, make it the actual player's location, not just the chunk that it's on's location. Yeah, it's basically advanced locomotion with vaulting and climbing. I mean, that's awesome. If I didn't already have that, I mean, that would be sick. But yeah, I already have like vaulting and stuff. I mean, maybe that'll be worth checking out anyway, because the ALS stuff is getting really complicated to like blend and add more stuff to. But yeah, here's my world map code. Just use a gun. Yeah, unfortunately no guns in my game. But yeah, those animations get those are a lot simpler, aren't they? Just throw in some procedural recoil or something in there and you're good. Okay, so what I'll need to do for this stuff is get the player location, and I'll need to translate it into the map coordinates. So actually this is 15, let's actually make it 20. A little slightly bigger. But yeah, here's my position up here, so I'll need to translate it into those kind of coordinates. And here's where I'm setting the position right now. I'm just transforming the map coordinate to screen space. I mean, that'll still probably need to be done, but I'll need to, rather than get terrain chunk at world location. Hey, it's Polycube, a follow. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I'm just now noticing my follower bar doesn't update, and is definitely not, the number is correct, but the bar itself is not. But yeah, appreciate the follow. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm such a slut for followers right now, so I appreciate that. Okay, I hate using asset packs, specifically ones that do a lot of blueprints for me. Really, asset packs in general makes everything you do look super bland. I get what you mean. Yeah, and it's hard to make things work with it, right? Because it's all like kind of dictated in a certain style or a certain way. So you try to incorporate some stuff into it, and you just got to go through this spider web of blueprints. Yeah, I'd much prefer writing C++, which is the You love chilling in small? Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, I'm using this. Let me pull this up. ALS refactored. So this like, I think the guy who originally made the advanced locomotion system now works at Epic, and is doing their like internal locomotion solutions. But he made this plugin called ALS, and it was entirely in blueprints. Well, I mean, hey, you guys are free to do as you please, and you know that may never happen. So I just appreciate the views and the follows, and just honestly just people to hang out with, to be truthful. But yeah, this guy made a plugin, and it was a really like high quality plugin, and this new guy like refactored it into C++ and added like replication and stuff like that. So this is what I'm using in my project, and I've basically like Theseus's bowed it. You know, I've been replacing a lot of parts and stuff. Like it had a lot of like camera movement, and I hated it. It was horrible. And so I made the camera actually like follow the character properly. I'm still sticking with UE4 though. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Like back when I started getting into Unreal about a year and a half ago, I was like, oh, UE5 looks awesome. They, you know, Nanite, Lumen. And then I get into it, I'm like, Nanite and Lumen are not what they're cracked up to be. They are not ready, right? They don't like, it's not just like click a box and get performance improvements, you know what I mean? Or click a box and get awesome lighting. And like the physics system, that's one thing that was super disappointing about UE5, was the physics system was about 20 frames less performant for me than UE4's physics. And it's because it's just young. You know, one, it's not very mature, and two, it's built for like next generation type hardware. Whereas like UE4 was like a very mature system, you know, what is it, 4.26 or something like that. So yeah, I do not blame you I feel like a lot of people are probably still using UE4. The UE4 interface though looks terrible, let's be honest. Yeah, see, that's Turning Cog, that's exactly how I felt about it as well. Learning the new features in 5 because by the time I'm ready to launch it'll be ready as well. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Definitely UE4 definitely better for smaller scale stylized projects. UE5 is still super buggy. Yeah, I can't disagree there. Lumen and Nanite are beta features, agree again. I hate how people are like, oh my god, this game is made in Unreal Engine. Dude, I know. All those like YouTube videos and stuff where they just basically throw a bunch of assets into Unreal Engine 5 and they're like, oh look, it's fucking Super Mario in Unreal Engine 5. I'm like, that's like, you know, it doesn't really take that long, right? And it's all dependent on the asset that you're throwing in. Yeah, UE5 became a selling point for games. Yeah, I agree. And I kind of like, I don't want people to recognize that I'm using Unreal Engine, and you can kind of tell when it's an Unreal Engine 5 game based on like the lighting, because it all has kind of like, the lighting is kind of similar in all these games. I made Super Mario 3D with RTX on in 2 days. I mean, it's not a lie, but that just goes to show you why it's not that impressive. Like, so much more goes into, like, people don't understand how hard game dev is, right? Like, there's so many disciplines you have to fucking master. And like those like Super Mario 3D or like Legend of Zelda or whatever retro game that they made in Unreal Engine 5, they just like, you know, default third person project, you know, used car salesman slaps top of third person project. This bad boy can fit so many fucking asset showcases on it. You know, just slap a movement component on an actor, you know, you can run around the world and show off these assets that you have. Like, it's not that, dude. I know exactly what you mean. I have thought that for a long time. Like those asset showcase type videos. Like everyone looks at that and like, because like that's what you see in a game. I get why people think that that's impressive and that's what game dev is, because that's what you see. They don't realize like all the underlying systems you got. You know, you got your animation, like literally just creating the animations. You got to blend the animations. You got to do all the technical animation work, and you got to like, you got to do sound design, and all the technical aspects of that. Like, there's a reason technical artists and like the materials and shaders and all that stuff, like that's insane. Like, there's so much to fucking learn, and those videos do none of that. In one of those new Unreal Games YouTube videos, someone complained they all look the same. I responded, so do books. It's about the story that they are telling. I mean, not untrue, but I mean, to me, I can almost tell when a game is made in Unreal Engine because of the lighting, and I'm hoping that, again, that's another discipline I have to learn, like the ambiance and atmosphere and the lighting stuff, something I've just kind of like slapped defaults on for now. Another thing that like probably people leave mostly stock and it looks like an Unreal Engine game, but yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a good game. I mean, look how much people like shit on a game like Pal World, right? And it was one, a buggy mess. Two, it was like everything that they had been doing had been done in other games before. They just did it. They just made a good game, and it didn't even necessarily have a story or anything. It was just something people wanted to play, and I played the hell out of it, right? Still a fun game. All that stuff, like a fun game can trump any lack of something else, right? People see a guy on YouTube use a city pack or something and names a vid that they make an open world game in 2 days, and people are like, yeah. There's no creativity, no nothing, no game design doc. A 3-year-old, dude, if I saw a 3-year-old make one of those videos, that would be pretty impressive, though. I get your point, though. I get your point. Switching back over to... I have my actor location. I need to transform it into... So I'm going from world location to chunk location. Do I even need to? I don't need to go trunk location. What do I need to do? I need like... Oh yeah, like... That's another thing I'm struggling with, performance issues, like all the work you need to do to get things to actually run performant. Yeah, and like the person showcasing it probably had like a 4090 or something that they were running it on. And their room's like fucking 90 degrees when they're filming the video because of how hot their computer is. Yeah, so I have actor location. I need to translate this into a map. Like, I need to translate this into screen space. And what information I have now is that I have where each pixel on the screen, or rather each pixel on my world map render target. I know that, like, what chunk coordinate it is. And so how would I take my, like, a world location and transform it into one? I mean, I am transforming it into a map coordinate and then into screen space, but how do I just go straight to screen space with actor location instead of, like, clamping it to each pixel? You can definitely achieve the same results in UE4, and what's even more funny is how people take UE4 scenes into UE5 and showcase how amazing UE5 is without realizing the scene does not need to be realistic to look good. Yeah, and then when they take it in Unreal 5, it probably runs worse, right? Without some extra work. That's why I have quiet fans. Yeah, I just got some Noctuas to replace my old ones. They've been nice. Keeping my PC cooler as well. What am I doing here? I'm getting the... Okay, so I'm getting the size of the widget on the screen. And so I guess what I need to do is get the range of world vectors that my map represents. because my world, like in terms of like this 0, 0 is like right here in world space, but 0, 0 is up here in the map texture. Starts at the top left. So do I just need to subtract half of the size of the screen space? Well, I guess I need to know the ratio between the two. So I need to know like what, and I should know about how big from here to here is in world space. Let me do some quick math here. So I have 128 pixels here, 128 right here. And each chunk, if I'm let me run this. If I'm remembering correctly, each chunk is about 12,000 Unreal units. I think it's Unreal Schmeckles. We're gonna call them Schmeckles. Okay, here's a terrain chunk. 0, 0, 0. So this is my 0, 0 chunk, and if I go over to the next one, it's at 12,000. So each chunk is about 12,000, and I think I get that number if I'm remembering correctly. So each chunk is, in terms of vertices, 240 by 240. So I think what I do, and I have a scale modifier that I'm storing in my noise data. So I think if I take, and it's 50, I think I have it set to 50. So if I take 240 times 50, that's where I get my 12,000 from. So I can use that, and then I can take 12,000 because that's the size per chunk, and then I can multiply that by the world map size divided by 2. 128 divided by 2. Okay, so the radius of my map is 768,000. Oh my god, the wireframe? Well, you don't like it? I think it looks kind of cool. And like I think it's a good showcase of like the procedural generation too. Like, because I have different levels of detail here. So like here's my full LOD, and then I've simplified it to use less vertices, and you know, each time these chunks spawn in, I spawn them at the lower level of detail, so it doesn't, you know, better for performance, and then when the player gets closer, they'll update to the higher res ones. But yeah, this is all generated based on like a Perlin noise, and then I add some like persistence and lacunarity to it, and then a height multiplier curve, and this is what you get. And then I've like essentially clamped it. And so I'm like saying anything under like 0.3, because it's the Perlin noise generates values from 0 to 1, and that's what I'm using to. I eventually set that to my Z component, and you know, doing all the height multiplier stuff. And I'm saying anything less than 0.3, just make it 0, and that's what creates these little like, they're going to be lakes. Well, and they look kind of bad now because they're just flat, but I'll make them deeper and stuff in the future. And then I'm applying fall-off maps on the coastlines. And this is what I did yesterday, and it looks fucking awesome. It creates this like weird moat around the whole thing. But yeah. Show me how you do grass? Sure. So I recently switched over to using the PCG framework in UE5. And I gotta say, that may be one reason to switch to UE5, because it is awesome. I was just doing it with my own kind of handmade system. But yeah, let me show you that. So each terrain chunk has a PCG component. Where is that at? So yeah, I can see some of the tools right here. And here's my PCG graph. And so if I look at this and open this up, let me pull this open here. Oop. And if I were to, what am I doing here? Here's my trees. And so I'm using a, I think I'm just placing the grass everywhere, but not on a certain slope. So if you look like right here, this slope is too high. So I'm going to disable some of these spawners. So that got rid of my trees, that got rid of my rocks, and so now I just have the foliage. And let me figure out where the hell I'm at. Okay, here's my foliage. And so what this starts out as, I'm going to disable the foliage so we can look at some of these points. So I start off with some noise. And so this is a representation of the noise. Again, just values from 0 to 1. The grass mesh it's generated with a instant static mesh component. And so here, the static mesh spawner at the very end is what I'm using to spawn. I have 3 different ones. And so like, here's an example of what the grass mesh is that I'm spawning. One of them, at least. And so I'm basically just taking that noise that I'm showing in the game and transforming it a little bit. I'm taking it and translating it into vertices of my hand-rolled terrain system because PCG can't do terrain very well. So that's what this custom node is. I'm not going to click on that because it's kind of resource intensive. So it takes that noise and we kind of like filter it. And so this is what I get. These are all the different points, and I'm using the axis here to show the rotation because what I've done is I've translated those points, I've laid them down on top, directly on top of the landscape, and I've aligned them with the slope of the landscape so that whenever I'm spawning them, they're not just like flat pieces of grass on the side of a mountain. It looked really bad before, but see now you can see they're like laying flat on a mountain, and so it'll actually be like aligned there. And then I just kind of get rid of some, apply another, filter to it. That's the slope mask filter. And then I think I just do some, like, to make it look less grid-like, I do some transformations to it, random rotations, I think it's just random pitch. So they're still aligned with the landscape, but they're rotated randomly. And then I think I do some, like, random offset or something as well to just make it look like less of a grid. And then what we eventually get are every single one of those points is a piece of grass, a little cluster of grass, and I do some like random scaling and stuff like that just to make it look all nice. What kind of game am I trying to make? So it's gonna be like, so my huge influences are like World of Warcraft, like Vanilla WoW, and RimWorld is another one of my favorite games. So I want to make sort of like an RPG colony sim type of game. But I also want to do it in the style of a roguelike. I think that'll be really fun. But yeah. And then I think I've also done a height filter here, so it doesn't spawn them in the water as well. But yeah, that's a brief little tour of my procedural terrain system, procedural like spawning system. With the trees, I do another purlin noise. That's stuff around the trees. I spawn like rocks and shrubs and stuff. I'm gonna turn off trees and actually show. Here's the, oh, it's disabled. D? Yeah, here's the purlin noise for the trees. And so the white sections, I do a density filter. So you see, this is where I spawn. These are the areas for trees, for forest. Do I have any past projects? No, this is my first one. Valheim with the procedural biomes and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely gonna have some features similar to Valheim, and I'll show you one of which that I have right now. Get that out of here. You'll recognize this one. So let me go over here. Pink. Yeah, so I can actually deform the terrain meshes as well if I actually hit it. And this is one of my shitty animations that I've made. But yeah, if we take a look at the wireframe, you can see that it's actually, I've deformed it. Now I've actually just moved those down, and I'll need to despawn some of these this floating grass. It's another fix I'll have to do. I had that working before, but I changed over to doing the PCG stuff, and so I'll need to update it to work on that. But yeah, I don't want it to be like a straight survival game. There's so many fucking survival games out right now, but it'll definitely have some features like Valheim. One criticism I have of Valheim is that each biome is it's the same difficulty, same creatures, same meshes. You can expect to see the same things in every biome each time, and so I would rather have biomes that, like, you know, you can have a Black Forest type biome that has some different stuff in it and has like a different level of creatures and stuff like that. And so that's where I want to go, like, are you 100% sure you're going to finish a project like this? No, I'm not at all. And I'm just, you know, taking it as it comes. You know, I'm a software engineer by day, so I'm just seeing where it goes, and I love doing it. This is like a hobby of mine, and I'm making a game that I want to play. I don't care if other people play it. I would love for other people to play it someday, but I'm not gonna kid myself. But yeah, I definitely want to make it more RPG-y than something like Valheim. Like, I want levels, and I want zones with different levels to them. So one of the things I want to work on next is actually creating those biomes on this world map. I think I might use just like another Voronoi cell material, and just lay it on top of this, and then use the cell edges to create, you know, some sort of border to the biome, whether those be mountains or maybe just a gradual end to the biome. You know, think zones in WoW where they're cleanly defined. I want to do something more like that. And you can go from zone to zone, and each zone has a name and, you know, maybe a town in it or something like that, and a storyline. That's what I want to do. And so I've actually... Here, another thing I'll show you. Let me turn on my my spawns here. I turned them off because it takes a while to generate them at the beginning. Yeah, just a side hobby, you know. Maybe it'll catch, you know, maybe it'll catch on. Maybe I can get enough viewers and followers and subscribers to quit my job and work on it full time, you know. But yeah, that's not an expectation by any means. And so what I want to show you, I want a little bit of combat. But two, I wanted to show the AI generated quests that I have, because that's something that's like pretty cool. Dot it up. I gotta find a colonist though. Let's see if I can find one real quick. There's one. Is that the closest one? Yeah, I'll head that way. I'm trying to get myself to finally finish a project. I've been using UE for like 4-ish years and did game jams. I was working under time pressure. I quickly get demotivated. Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone goes through some level of that, right? Like, especially like the polish that you have to do at the end of the game. Like, that takes so much more time and is like, it's so much less motivating because you're not seeing the progress so much, you know? Like, in the early stages, you can get more done. Trying to keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to finish a project, right? But yeah, here we have Andres Firehearth. So I'm going to generate a quest, and what this did is it sent out like a prompt to the Google Gemini AI API, and I basically told the AI, hey, fill out this JSON schema with quest information. And I dumped my entire item database, and I dumped a JSON representation array of all the mobs and characters that I have spawned in the world. And this is what it responded with. I need you to take care of something for me, boy. You see, there's been a pack of wolves causing trouble to the west of town. I need you to handle it. Can you help an old man out? What's in it for me? I'll give you 10 gold, 10 silver, 50 experience, and an assortment of items once you dispatch the wolves. And so it generated this dialogue. It generated the quest objectives as well. So like I gave it my mob database, and they have IDs in them. And so it saw like ID, I think 1 is what it is, and the name was wolf. And it saw that there was a bunch of wolves spawned in the world. And so it's a lot of these quests that are generating are just killing wolves. But before I did that, it had a bunch of different ones. But yeah, so what I need to do next with this is actually, one, give credit when you kill the wolves to this quest. Probably need to make a UI to track that, like a quest log. And then 2, I actually want to make the AI able to spawn things in the game. And what I've told it is essentially in the prompt, I'm like, hey, if you want to create something, leave the ID as -1. and then because the response is entirely JSON, so I just serialize that into JSON, and then I can like parse. I can pick whatever property I want from it. And so I'm planning to just look for anything with the -1 ID. What class does it want me to spawn? I've given it my mob classes and stuff, and so I'll spawn those. And I'm hoping. Sure, I'll take care of this quest. And I'm hoping now that I have this world map representation texture. A lot of these models have, the image capabilities now. So what I want to do is actually put like some points of interest on here and some labels, some names and stuff, and then upload this to the AI, and maybe it can actually, give directions and stuff and be like, hey, head north. It already tries to do that, but it's hallucinating. So hopefully in the future I can get that to actually work. Would be happy with any Steam release, even with a simple but fun one. Yeah, and it's, I've never gone through that process, so it's really good to get the experience of like what it takes to actually release a game, Right now I got this concept for a rooftop roguelike with melee combat. Been planning and laying everything out for like 2 weeks now. I'm gonna start doing something now. That's awesome. So you're like gonna jump from like roof to roof, kinda? That sounds cool. That reminds me of like, I don't know why, I'm getting like, that Ninja Turtles GameCube game vibes from that, just thinking about it. Because I think there's like some rooftop battles that you did. Roguelikes are super fun though. Let's see if I can get a cooler quest generated here. If I go into my playground level, it'll definitely be a lot different than just the wolf stuff. There's response. Okay, again, some wolves. Can you tell me more about the wolves? Yeah, sorry, don't want to do that. You know Dying Light 2 rooftop aesthetics? I know Dying Light 1. Dying Light was all, yeah, like the parkour. You want to do that kind of stuff? That could be cool. Make the floor lava, basically. Or make it to where like there's just so many mobs on the ground that you just instantly die. There's no hope to live when you... Who's my favorite Ninja Turtle? I think I always liked Raphael. If I'm remembering correctly. But I think Donatello, the nerdy guy, was also another one. I think that's who I played the most, because my friend always played Michelangelo in that game. Yeah, I'm gonna actually hit up my playground level, just to show like how different these AI generated quests can get. Munda Brodon. Yeah, so this one, I have bandits, which are those red guys. Listen here, Outlander. That lot of ne'er-do-wells up north needs to be dealt with. You do that for me, and Orestes, the town elder in Lower Scuban, will have something for you. See, like, it's just creating, like, this stuff, and so it'd be cool to, like, either give it the names of surrounding towns, or extract these names from the response, and procedurally spawn those towns. So that the player can go and actually go north and actually find Orestes, the town elder, But yeah, slay 5 bandits. Where in the north are these bandits located? Just head northwest through those woods, then you'll run into them eventually. No thanks, I don't want to get involved. Bah! Good riddance then. Sometimes they get kind of snarky when you refuse. Like the ivy on the rooftops. I just want a fun dropkick system. Oh, like kicking people off the roofs? Using objects in the environment? Oh yeah, nice. So like a pipe can be your weapon, but it'll break, so you need to get a new weapon and retract it to your hand from your environment. I think that will create some fun combos, throwing stuff at enemies, high kicking them, and retracting weapons midair. Yeah, that could be really cool. I think what you'll need to be careful of, and this is what I criticize Tears of the Kingdom for, like Zelda. I did not enjoy that game. I didn't like it. And it's because it was so UI intensive, right? Like, in the middle of combat, you had to switch through so many different, weapon breaking is one thing. I don't necessarily mind that a weapon breaks, but when a weapon breaks and I have to go through some UI, switch to it. Oh, I need a different ability to fight this mob. I need to switch to it. Oh, I need to equip I need to fuse like a fire berry on my bow. Oh, my bow broke. Gotta switch my bow. Gotta fuse the fire thing onto my arrow. And so I think if you do that and basically make it to where it's not too tedious to have things break and use all that stuff and, you know, do it completely in game, it can be really fun and fluid. For sure, and creative, you know, with all the environmental stuff. Like if Mirror Edge and Dying Light had a baby. I never played Mirror's Edge, but I do know, I have seen that game. That damn NES Ninja Turtle game made me double check alleyways for cars my entire life. I don't want to play an inventory management game. Yeah, different kind of game. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially why I didn't like Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it just felt like you played the game, the actual game, so little, and you were just playing like the fusing system, right? Like it was so tedious to get everything rotated correctly and fused onto the right thing. Oh, I put it in a slightly wrong spot. I gotta fucking wiggle the thumbstick to break it off. Oh, the whole thing just fell apart. I gotta start back over now. I only carry one weapon at a time, so yeah, that pretty much fixes that problem. If it breaks, it breaks. You don't need to retract a new weapon, no inventory. Yeah, you just gotta find one on the ground. Yeah, I feel that. That'll definitely fix that issue. But yeah, that's my criticism of Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that was quite a long side quest that I just went on. But I need to get this information, and I think it's all stored in my endless terrain. So I'm just gonna and I have that. I'm doing endless terrain right here. So let me do it. Can I get noise data? Do I have this blueprintable? Please, for the love of God. I don't. Fuck. What I want, I need noise scale. Do I want that, or oh, the scale here? This is what I need to be blueprint available. Do I want that, or should I just make a function for like get chunk size? I think I may just make a function for get chunk size. Yeah, let's just do that. I get blueprint callable, blueprint pure as well. It'll return a float. Get terrain chunk. I'll say world size specifically. Make it const. Generate that. So what I want to return, it's going to be like num square, the number of square verts per chunk times scale, right? Is that the math that I did earlier? Right, because it's 240 times the scale is 50, gets me the 12,000. Okay, so that gets me the chunks. You might be onto something, Cube. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've always said like the best barbecue is made in people's backyards. It's not in a restaurant, right? Best street tacos made in someone's kitchen. The best games are made at the indie level, right? Because people actually take risks, you know, and they don't have to compromise on anything, and they don't have to generify it to the masses. They can make something super niche and unique. And yeah, I think indies make the best games, is what I'm trying to say. You get unique items that boost something or give you abilities. Like I don't know what ROR2 is. Oh, Risk of Rain, maybe. After each stage. Still have no idea how to transition between two rooftops. Okay, so a rooftop is like a single level. Big open rooftops as an arena parkour. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's different ways, right? Like you could take that like you're saying it's a roguelike, so essentially you're thinking of each rooftop as like an encounter or a stage, right? You could make it to where it's just kind of open world, right? And you can jump from rooftop to rooftop freely. But like just the further you get into the game, the harder it gets. So it's like you want to stay back and get all the XP you can and kill everything, kick everything off the edge, you know? Or you can do like the level streaming thing, which I think is essentially what you would need to do to transition between those levels in Unreal Engine, at least. My mind is always in the open world style of things. I like the ability to freely do as I want, right? Like in your game, like if I wanted to skip some mobs and just go to the next stage, I could, if it was an open world thing. But if you do like a stage thing, you know, maybe it would prevent you from jumping to the next roof. until you've killed everything. But like, when do you select your items? And you want, I mean, you could just do like a UI thing for that, right? Like maybe each time you level up, or each time you kill enough mobs, or each time you kill every mob on a roof, you know, pause the game, show a UI with a list of choices in some way. And then let the player just, you know, press the spacebar, sprint in space across the roof. I did vaulting, climbing, sliding, and a pretty satisfying first-person movement system. Got some friends to play it, and I got a confirmation that it feels super smooth. That's awesome. I want to do sliding in my game as well. But locomotion is something that's pretty fucking difficult, and yeah, making it feel good is even more difficult. Yeah, let me save this. I'm gonna rebuild. So I can get that function. Where you have to interact after you set up the zipline. Lock the level till everyone is dead. Yeah. Turn on the fans, getting toasty in here. Climb up a rooftop radio tower to get more height. Yeah, it could be cool if you do that and you can actually like see the next levels maybe. And so you can kind of choose what direction you want to go based on what, maybe you can see what the rewards are for each roof. And so you climb higher, you're like, oh, I see that one ability that would really flesh out my build. I'm gonna head that direction. That could be cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's boot this up. You said 4.7? What are you talking about? Okay. I need to open my world map UI here. Cube not on 5 yet. Yeah, he's probably on 4.26. I think that's the latest version of 4.26 or 4.27 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's get terrain chunk size now. Get terrain chunk world size. Okay, so that should be 12,000. And so I essentially need to multiply this by I need to get this world map here. We're gonna do world map size. And then I need to divide by 2. And then multiply that. So I think what this is doing, so let me get out my calculator again. So I have 12,000. And then world map size divided by 2, it's, what is it? 128 divided by 2 is like 64, right? 64. So I'm going to take 12,000 multiplied by 60. No, I want to divide by 64, right? Not multiply. And so this is going to tell me how many, using 4.25 best performance. 4.26 and 2.7 were more virtual production heavy. Interesting. Okay, I have no idea what you mean when you say that, but it's interesting that 2.5 is more performant. And so what am I getting here? Or no, I think I do want to multiply, because what I'm trying to say is like how, yeah, I'm trying to get how wide the map is in world size. So I did want to multiply it. Did you ever play The Tick for Sega Genesis? What a fucking console that was. That was mostly rooftop combat. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I have played the Sega Gen, or no, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the Dreamcast. I played the Dreamcast. I never played the Genesis. The Dreamcast was a hell of a console. Yeah, so I'm gonna have 12,000 times 64, and so this is gonna be the half size. And why am I getting the half size and not the full size? Because I want to move it halfway, so I basically want to subtract this from the actor world location X and Y. What kind of enemies are you gonna have? Are you gonna do like zombies, like Dying Light, or are you gonna do like, you know, like some bandits and thugs? Or maybe some monsters? So what I'm trying to do here is I'll get the actor world location, which is gonna be similar, it's gonna be in the same kind of core. So I'm gonna need to do the same thing. So I'm gonna get a, what am I gonna get here? I'm gonna need to transform to screen space. Do I need, I don't know if I need to do the world map size actually. No, I think I do because I need to know, yeah, how big it is. That's the only reason though. Yeah, and then I think I'll need to do something like this. I'll need this information at some point, because this is the screen space size. And then what did I do? I divided that by that. And so I'm getting, when I do that, I'm getting essentially the ratio. And I'll need to do this for X and Y. So this is going to give me the ratio between screen size and world size. And then what do I do with that? What was I doing? And then I just multiply that by the original. Hang on, I'm getting some emails. Okay, and so I think I'll want to multiply these by the original, by the location, by the actor location. But I need to just break this. Let me actually just split this pen. Yeah, I'll need to do this. Multiply X. The roof gaps for each building were parkour distance, and they made great use of obstacles even in 2. Worth taking a look at some gameplay. How similar is it to something like Dying Light? So maybe instead of one rooftop, a row of them, and fight city block by city block for some parts of it. Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind when Polycube originally said his idea. And so now that I've multiplied the actor X and Y, by the ratio between these two. I may need to switch the divide here. I may need to flip that upside down. Let me look back at this. So I'm translating to screen space, so that means I am taking world map to screen space, so put that on the bottom. I am translating world to screen space. Okay. I'm gonna need to put all this in a function, but for now this is okay. And so now let's make vector 2 here. Honestly, I should have done that from here. Then can I do something like this? I can. Okay, so I need to make this into a vector 2. Okay, so I think this will give me, I'm interested to see what this gives me. So let me throw a print string here. I'll say this is like transformed to, transformed, what am I saying? World location to screen space. Put that in there. And let's use this location. So now that's in screen space, and I've transformed that to screen space. So instead of this one, we're setting the player cursor. First of all, connect that. God, this is so fucking messy. Put that in there. Okay, let's see what happens. Great, I chased them away by talking about a 30-year-old game. Yeah, that's where you made your mistake. We only talk about 20-year-old games in this channel. You missed it by a decade. Okay, world map. Okay, okay, so the cursor is at 0, 0. Oh, shit. Fucking wolves. The cursor does seem to be moving, though. It's moving, it's in the wrong spot, but it's moving correctly. I didn't do the subtraction, that's why. I know what I need to do still. And so I have now, what do I need? I need to subtract this number? Yeah, I need to subtract this number from the actor location. Do I need to subtract or add? I think subtract is the right move here. Okay, full game plan. Fast-paced FPS. First-person shooter or just first-person perspective? Melee combat. You enter rooftops through a staircase door. You use objects in the environment such as pipes as a weapon. You can throw them. Heavy swing, short swing, stamina bar, satisfying, drop kick, normal kick. Slide, vault, climb, short wall run, some kind of charging teleporter, progressing either through a zip line or another staircase. Non-generic items at the end of each stage. Smaller enemies like spider or something, small melee attacks, jump attacks. Heavier enemies with swords. Bigger enemies, laser stomp, or laser comma stomp. Laser stomp, I was like, whoa, whoa. Laser comma stomp, comma shockwave. A final boss battle. What would the boss battle be like? But there are antennas to sword fight dudes with up there, just waiting to be used. Yeah, like a lightning rod. You could do a pretty cool lightning rod, and you could electrocute people with it, maybe. But you have to have the rubber glove item that you get from a previous stage or something. And bricks to heap. Oh yeah, dude. Throwing a brick at someone's head and knocking them out, and they fall over, they ragdoll over the edge of a rooftop. That's satisfying. That's gonna be satisfying. If you get that working, post a video, because I want to see it. Yeah, check out my world map now. Oh no! My cursor's nowhere to be found now. Okay, so it looked better before. So what exactly is happening here? I'm subtracting this. I don't know, open area spawning enemies in a circle. So is there one big enemy, or is the boss battle more of like a boss event where a bunch of enemies are? Or both, maybe. Because I'm wondering with like that kind of system, like... So you either go with like a combat system, like let's say something like WoW, where it's all... like you can't really fight higher level enemies until you're that level. Or you could do like a combat system like... something like Dark Souls, where it's like all mechanical skill, right? Like if you dodge every attack, you can kill any boss. Doesn't matter, what level you are or anything. And so it sounds like with your system, it's going to be more of the latter, where it's going to be things to dodge for like boss fights. Drop kicking them off ledges, mid-air throwing your weapons, retracting a new one, all in slow-mo. Yeah, you can do like a slow-mo ability. Like some adrenaline, like you just like jam like a fucking syringe into your arm and get some adrenaline going. What game was that from? Some game did that. Was that BioShock? I forget. Think of a rooftop as a bunch of overlaying rooftops making a big one. Procedural gen. Yeah. Dark Souls, but a movement FPS, yeah. Dark Souls combat is not for me. I did not like Elden Ring. I think it's an amazing game, but the combat, I don't like the whole like dodge, poke, dodge type of combat. It's not very fun to me. Because then the fights are just long. It's like you mess up once and you gotta start over. It's not fun for me. I did beat the first boss in Elden Ring. That's about it though. I have other problems with Elden Ring, but I'll digress. Yeah, the struggle is real with that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'd much rather have a game where I can spend time leveling up and actually like feel like I've progressed, and then like I can make my own difficulty that way, right? And I guess you can say the same for Elden Ring to a certain extent, but for me, Elden Ring, its difficulty is too far on the side of mechanical execution, a little bit too far for me for what I like. Burma, all right. So I gotta figure out why my cursor is not showing. So I thought so what I have here, I'm gonna take this. Let's comment it, because this is going to be, this is half size of world map in world units. Then what I have here, this is screen size. This is widget screen size. And this is ratio between the two. And so I need to take the do I even do this multiplication here? Okay, I was getting like 2, -0. I definitely don't want negative numbers. So when I was closer, I was closer when I had this. Do I need to add instead? I think maybe I need to add instead. Add that. Because I'm changing from a coordinate system that starts in the center to a coordinate system that starts in the top left. No, because I would be adding a negative number. When you add a negative, I mean, maybe that's what I want. I don't think this is gonna be. Yeah, again, transfer from world location to screen space is 1076 by 1050, so that's like way at the bottom. And it should be, I should be getting like 0, 0, is what I should be getting. And I have the ratio between the two. When I was just multiplying it, it went in the top left. So rather than adding here, because this was almost correct, it was just in the wrong look, it was just a top left. So I just need to offset it from here. I just need to add, I think I just need to add half screen size. Yeah, let me divide this by 2. And multiply, and then I'll add here. Just add 2 here. I'll swap the... I think this is what I will want. Fingers crossed. Oh, that looks good. And is it moving? I can't tell. It's so, the world map is so big. It is moving. Okay, this is exactly what I fucking want. Nice. Perfect. So we're done with that. Cross that off the list. Let's refactor that a bit. We can get rid of that now. And that. Then I need to put this all in a function. What do I want to call this? This is like get player location in screen space. Okay. Regression test. Do you do you want to see me naked? What the fuck? Alright, alright. Where's the ban button? Ban and report. Manage suspicious user. Reported. For spam. Spam. Spam and bots. Advertising, banning for advertising OnlyFans. Submit, block this user, yeah. Block, and can I ban from my chat? Ban. There you go, goodbye. Yo, how are you? Oh, from YouTube! Hello over there on YouTube. I'm good, how are you doing? I am just getting working my my little player cursor on this world map here. I just got it working to update on the player's actual position in the world. Better luck with Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, I might have clicked that link. I might have clicked that OnlyFans link if there was Girl Scout cookies on the other side. Yeah, we just had a bot show up in here asking if we wanted to see them naked and posted a link to OnlyFans. So yeah, you know, it looks good. Oh, thanks. Are you gonna release that game? Ask me again in 5 years, and then we'll see. This is still quite early stages. I'm going through a lot of my procedurally generated stuff here and trying to get it all working together because I've recently changed a bunch. Let me switch to my Mace of Mediocrity here. Oh, I ragdolled on accident. Oh no, they killed the colonists. Yeah, I want to run over here and check out the coastlines, because this is something I recently got working as well. So before I just had like endless terrain that was essentially, it looked like this, right? And it just kind of went on forever in every direction. And I knew I wanted to have a world map to actually create like land mass and stuff like that. And so I was able to, I actually made this, can I have my content window, please? There we go. I created this little material here. There's just like a little, where is it? This noise node. It created a Voronoi noise. I have some offset applied to it. And I was able to get this to render into a texture, or a render target, runtime. And so now I'm taking this and I'm spawning for each pixel in here. It's 128 by 128. For each pixel in this image, I spawn a terrain chunk. And for the ones on the edges, I have a fall-off map that I made. And I just subtract that fall-off map on those edges and created these coastlines. And it's a very simplified version of what I actually did. It took quite a bit of tinkering to get it to work right, but it looks pretty fucking awesome if I do say so myself. It created this weird moat river around the edge, so I'll have to look into why that is. Trying to shoehorn systems together has been rough for me. I mean, as it goes in Unreal Engine, yeah. How long did it take to make this? Because I'm getting a PC and I want to learn UE5. So I started learning Unreal Engine 5 and C++ and procedural generation about 1.5 years ago. So I think it'll be 2 years in November when I started this. But I knew nothing, pretty much nothing about Unreal Engine before that. So, I'm finally getting, you know, maybe after a year I felt like I actually knew what I was doing. And so I've been going back and refactoring some of my systems, working on this procedural terrain stuff now and making it, you know, organized better and work better and everything like that. But yeah, if you have any questions about learning Unreal Engine 5 or anything, I am all ears. I will answer whatever I can. That's cool though. It's exciting. Game dev is exciting. It's fun. It's a slog though, especially Unreal Engine. There's tons of systems in Unreal Engine that you have to learn. So just be ready for that. I'm in my 3rd year of this. Shit is not quick unless you are trying to make smaller scenes. Yeah, I mean, always smaller is going to be better. Or at least easier. But yeah, I've had to go through like optimizing this stuff and everything to just get it to run. I'll need to do more optimizations before this is completely playable. You probably saw when I was playing it, there were quite a few hitches when some of these terrain chunks were spawning in. But yeah, I mean, in Unreal, like I'm kind of doing hard mode Unreal Engine because the procedural generation stuff is kind of hard. It's a lot of math, and I don't have a college degree, so I don't have a college level of math. So that's been the most challenging part for me. But yeah, I think I'm a software engineer. That's my job, so I probably had an easier time learning the coding side of things for Unreal than most people would. But again, C++ is not the easiest language to learn. And Unreal Engine does have its own reflection system built on top of that, so that makes it a bit better, but once again, it's just another thing to learn. And that's kind of the trade-off with using Unreal Engine versus some other engines. Is like, it's very powerful out of the box, but you have to learn the systems and how to use them to harness some of that power. And Unreal Engine C++ isn't normal C++. No, not really. You know, you do have to know like pointers and refs and memory management like C++, but you don't use any of the standard C++ types or anything like that, so I would probably struggle to write real C++. But yeah, this is awesome. This is looking good. I'm actually surprised. So I actually, yesterday, where should I go on this map? Where should I go on this map? I thought this little bay area right here was cool, and so what I wanted to do was check that out, but it was so far away, and I didn't want to run to it. So I created a thing where, you see how the coordinates are updating where my mouse is at the top? I'm actually going to click, and it's going to spawn my character over there. It's going to teleport him over there and render all those chunks, clean up all these old ones, and then I'm going to fall from the sky. Whoops. Wait, where the hell am I? I'm frozen. Well, wait for it. It's spawning chunks. Oh god. Fell through the world. Where did I spawn at? I spawned in like the middle of the ocean. I might have spawned off screen. Let me try that again. I swear this worked yesterday. I'm gonna restart. You want jiggle physics on the booty? On my placeholder character model? Okay, let's try this spawning thing again. I'm gonna go right there. Okay, teleported the player. It's spawning chunks right now. When they're done, the controller, the viewport will change over there. Nice. Nice. Oh, it's way off now, actually. Huh, okay, so the player location is actually not working properly. So my cursor's in the wrong... That was a good test. Because I'm pretty sure... Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I am on this peninsula here. Because, I mean, there's no land out here. Interesting. Okay, so it's not quite correct. I'm gonna go... Let's go up here. Or I have to be in-game. I'm gonna click up here. Well, let's see how close this is on this quadrant of the map. Because it is spawning the character in the right location. Okay, so I'm moving it too much. Okay, let me look back. I am moving it too much. Get player location in screen space. So I'm dividing the widget screen size, dividing it by 2, and this is how I'm translating from a coordinate system that starts in the center to one that starts in the top left, and then I'm adding that. What am I doing here? Okay, I'm back. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And so I have this ratio, and then I'm multiplying it by the... Do I need to do this? I'm multiplying the actor location by the ratio between the widget screen size and the half size of the world map in world units. Now, if I do, I think let me get a good sense of like what this number looks like, because I know it's like 1,000. It's around 1,000. The screen size of the widget. Divide that by what we did, 768. That's how big the map was. Well, I'm doing the whole size to the that's why. Okay. I shouldn't divide that by 2. I think that's the issue. let's see if that let's see if my click teleport here works. So I'm gonna try this one again. We're teleporting, we're generating chunks here. Waiting for them to all get rendered. There you go. Okay, that looks better now. My cursor is actually... Oh god, I ragdolled. Ah, Jesus. Okay, this seems to be a lot more correct now. I miss puzzle platformers where you gotta haul cranks and gears back across the dungeon to unlock the door. So that's what I'm working towards, and having NPCs just to send the player to different places to fetch bullshit from said dungeons. That sounds like you forgot the /s on that. I mean, you had me at cranks and gears. You lost me at running back and forth. It sounds like you were being sarcastic. But I could be reading that totally wrong. I mean, that sounds great. If that truly is your idea, I mean, that sounds good. I think you just need to look into ways to reduce the repetitiveness of just traveling to different locations, right? Because it's annoying when you go to a location and you got to run back to where you came from, and then you got to run back to that location. You know, so either ways to speed that up or ways to make that entertaining. Okay, so here's a problem right here that I need to fix. So what's happening here with these two chunks? Let me look at the wireframe view here. So what's happening here is that I'm applying the fall off map to this chunk, and it's not lining up completely because this edge vertice is being subtracted from. And so I think what I need to do, add cars so it cuts down on the track. Yeah, see, that's perfect, right? And if you make it to where, like, you can have fun driving the car, you know, you can go off ramps and stuff. Like, think, like, you know how people just have fun in GTA just driving, like, a motorcycle around or something, going off, like, ramps and shit like that? If you do stuff like that can be totally fun. Or maybe you can, like, run over some enemies on the way, something like that. Yeah, I thought you were just being sarcastic because you were saying, what did you say? Working and having NPCs just to send the player to different places to fetch bullshit from the dungeons. I thought that's why you were being sarcastic. It very well could be a good idea. I think you just need to make that fun, you know, figure out what that is. And maybe it's just fighting to it on the way and making sure that fighting feels rewarding for the player. So this makes me think of actually New World. Did anyone here play New World? Like the Amazon game? So there was a problem with New World. The world looked awesome. There were some gameplay issues, but that's not what I'm going to get into. One of the issues was like with the quests. A lot of the quests were just kind of like your generic, bland daily world quest things, where it's like, I got a 3080. I wasn't allowed to play New World. Oh, you had one of the ones? Was it one of the ones that like would fry whenever you opened up a menu or something like that? I have a 3080 Ti, but I don't think I got that until after I played New World. But yeah, they had these generic world quests, right? Where it's like, go to this location, kill, and it was like, kill 6 of these things. Didn't want to chance it. Yeah, I feel you there. I remember that issue. But like, you would run all the fucking way across this entire zone to go kill 5 things. And it was only 5. And so you'd get there. It would take you 10 minutes to get there. And then you'd only spend 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes killing the thing. So the game was just a lot of traveling. And a lot of people complained about it. Because you were just running, they wanted mounts. There's no mounts in the game, right? There's no way to travel. There is a fast travel, like teleport system, but it requires resources. and it's a kind of a rare resource, so players don't want to use it to just travel to do a fucking world quest to kill 5 things, right? So I think the problem they made was, one, it's only like you need to make that number higher, right? It should be like kill 20, so you're there for longer, and that way the ratio between travel and gameplay is better, right? Because it was like a 1-to-1 ratio or less, and so it was bad. Yeah, no, don't waste the player's time. Exactly. The way I was still able to find it somewhat enjoyable, though, is because New World actually has a pretty good like gathering and crafting system. That's one of the things it does well, I think. And if you on the way there, you're gathering your iron, chopping some trees, finding some herbs to gather, to collect, doing some fishing. If you did that on your way and basically didn't just go in a straight line there, or you kind of have to get off the roads and like kind of wander around a little bit on your way there, and then that's how you kind of make it a little bit more fun. My homies enjoyed it for like a month or two. Yeah, I mean, same here, right? I got to like level 40 or something and just like stopped. And I played New World back in its earliest alpha. Yeah, I got the early alpha access. This was back when it was actually a completely different game. It looked similar, but what it was actually open world, full loot, PvP, full PvP survival game where you could build the player, like as a player, you could claim a plot in the world and build a fortress on it. That's what the game used to be, and you could get into a clan. I remember we created some, I forget what they call them, guilds or clans, and you could have like a clan building, and like there were these Azoth veins or like geysers or something, and you had to build Azoth extractors on them, and each zone had like, because you had to claim a zone. You could only build like one clan fortress on a zone. And that's what you needed to extract this rare resource, this Azoth from. And so each zone kind of had different features. Some didn't have as many nodes, but they were in better strategic positions. Some had better positions to the higher level zones. And so that's what the game was like these guilds would attack each other for control over these veins, basically, on these locations. And it was pretty fun, but they didn't have any abilities. This was before they had like, what are they? They had the rapier, the axe, and I think maybe one other weapon. The bow, probably, and the musket. I think those were the weapons, and there was no abilities, right? There was no talent tree. There was no weapon tree. It was just you had like a Q and an E attack, and the Q was kind of like your special attack. For the axe, you just kind of did like a spin move. Like it wasn't an actual like spell or triggered ability or anything like that. They were just like different types of attack. You had like a soft attack, a heavy attack, and then like a special attack, and that was it, right? And because it was full loot, like you were constantly out gathering resources and running into people and stuff like that. Completely different game. And actually, one of my points of feedback on the forums was like, this game needs abilities, and they eventually ended up doing that, but they completely changed the rest of the game too. So, but I was like, yeah, I only have 3 buttons to press. It doesn't feel very fun. I'm the kind of player that I want a lot of buttons to press. Like I want like a World of Warcraft type system. I understand people. There's a middle ground there, right? Between something that's like Diablo where there's only fucking 6 things to press, versus something like a World of Warcraft where you have a whole screen full of buttons, right? But yeah, that your whole traveling thing made me think of New World there, because that was a huge issue that they have. Okay, what am I doing next? So I think I have what I've completed today. So I can take this off, put it there. A seeded world map. Okay, that's what I wanted to work on next. And so right now my world map is going to be these. I have a seed that generates the terrain, but it's not. It doesn't generate the world map. So I think that's what I want to work on next. I hope that person got banned already. Nice. So I need to figure out how to... I should commit what I have, though. I have a lot of changes here. Yeah, let's commit this. So this is like... this is like my world map system, basically. World map and fall off. So... add generated world map and fall off maps to coastline. It's essentially all of this. There's a lot more, but that's the gist. Okay. So now I want to make this seated. So I have my world map class here, and we're passing in an offset to the material. Let me take a look at that material. Here are those parameters being passed in, and so I'm just adjusting. I'm essentially, I think, I'm going to change to I have a map display level that I was using to test this. It may as well be an idle clicker if it's 3 buttons. Yeah, and I mean, that kind of, it's one part of why I don't like Dark Souls type combat. There are more buttons to press than that in Dark Souls, but it is mostly dodge or swing, right? And so that's why it's just not, it's not exciting to me. There's not enough choice there. Did you figure out that bullshit that was standing in your way of generating texture? I fucking did. The very next morning, like in 5 minutes, of course. Let me show you actually what the issue was. So this was a surface before, and I had it attached to base color. I originally had it as emissive color, and I changed it because I was like, oh, it's the same thing, base color, I think that's probably what we want to use. That was the fucking issue. And then I read somewhere on some forum post, like, oh, that can't be generated at runtime, but it can. It totally can. I just needed to change that to here, and it worked. And then I eventually changed this to a user interface texture because it just better represents what I'm using it for. But yeah, that was the fucking issue. Okay, map display. Let me generate my Voronoi shader. So this is what I was using to test out my world map. And so I have the offset rigged up here. So if I change this to like 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, kind of, you can see it shifting over. And so I think what I want to do is I have the noise data both here in this level and in my actual world level. I have a seed here. It's just set to 0 right now. It can be anything. But I am going to use that seed and just generate a couple random points. I don't know, like, what's the max bounds on this? Because this can be probably negative, right? Yeah. It probably doesn't really have a max bounds or anything. Let me look at this node here. It has tiling. It's repeating, so I don't want that. Yeah, I don't really think there is a max. I do want to like cap it on something though. I'll just come up with a number then, I guess. So here in my world map, I want to get information on the noise data, which I have stored in my endless terrain, which is where I'm pretty sure that's where I'm calling this from. I am calling it from there. So let's pass in the noise data.seed here. You know, while we're at it, capitalize this. This will just be an int seed. I got a dream game idea in the back of my head, kind of a retro of Resident Evil 4, I assume, survival horror. God, I love those kinds of games. I never got into the survival horror types of games, but I do enjoy watching them. Like, why static cam? What? I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, I loved watching. I watched some streamers play the latest. Was it Village? Is that what it was called? The latest Resident Evil game, and it was entertaining. Oh, the old. Oh yeah, dude. Camera mechanics in old games were like you thought the enemy was the boss, but it wasn't. It was the fucking player camera. Before developers figured out how to make that smooth and stuff. Yeah, that ruined a lot of games. Resident 4 was the first one to have the third person cam. Interesting. Okay. I remember a game I played with a friend of mine, Sand Muffin. You may see him pop in chat from time to time, but we played a game on the Xbox called Too Human. Did you guys play that game? It was like a futuristic Viking game where you had swords and guns. And it was kind of like hack and slashy. Literally one of my favorite games. Yeah, it was a great game. The worst enemy in that game was the fucking camera. Because it was like that old school, like, you either have to, like, I forget why it was so bad, but I just remember, like, you had to, like, lock on to the right thing to get the camera to rotate correctly. And if you didn't lock on to the right thing, like, the camera would just, like, go straight up your ass, basically. And, yeah, that was the worst part of that game, was the camera. Polly, I don't know if you had the same experience or not, but that's what I remember from it. I love the aesthetic of it, though. Futuristic Vikings. It's very like Marvel's Vikings, you know, like the Asgard in the Marvel movies. It's kind of what it felt like. Yeah, so I need a random. I'll do it in 32 rand x, and I need to create f random stream with the seed, and we'll just call this RNG. RNG.rand range. We could do a float. Let's do f rand range, which will give me a float. Let's just do negative 100,000 to positive 100,000. Do the same for y. And we'll just pop that in. So what I want to make sure, though, is that, because the player always spawns at 0, 0, and I want to make sure, and I think Minecraft does this as well, but I want to make sure the player actually spawns on land and not in the middle of the fucking ocean. So I may need to, like, loop a little bit to find the right one. But something to keep in mind is that I'll just throw a 0 in there to get that to go away. Something I want to keep in mind is that I still want the seed to be different. Like, I want it to be, or rather not different, but like repeatable. Like the same seed should have the same starting zone. But I think the random stream does work that way, where like each time I call it, it's deterministic. Because of the seed. So I'm just going to see what happens here. But I think as a part of this, I'm going to need to make sure that there's an actual non-zero chunk. Or a non-zero pixel. And I either just keep generating random ones until I find one that has actual land there, or I can just search for one in the map that this generated. And like I can loop. I either loop through and generate random stuff, which there is a non-negligible performance impact of generating random things, or I can loop through the material pixels and find a position, and then just once I found that position, I can just add the offset and regenerate it. I don't know which one will be more performant, and I'm not sure if either will be performant enough to make a difference. Soul Reaver is one of my favorite games, and I want my puzzles to feel like that for more context. I'm not familiar with Soul Reaver, I don't think. Okay, just get a box, set a random XY location of a scene component, and do a sphere trace down with the radius you want away from the ocean. And if it checked the ocean, if it does it. So I don't want to generate the whole world. So at this point, when I'm generating the world map, all I'm doing is generating the texture. That's all I have. So I can't do any sort of collision tracing or anything like that. I have to iterate through like this, right? So this is where I'm iterating through the pixel data of that generated texture or render target. And so I have to go through here, and I basically have to check at the halfway point. Why though? Why what? Why isn't the world generated? Or are you saying like generate the world and then just move the player to the nearest location? That's definitely a way to do it. I don't know. I just want I want 0, 0 to always be where the player spawns. Because yeah, okay. I want that to always be because it's the center of the map, right? Like think Valheim, you spawn at the center of the map. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a way to solve the problem. But anyway, like I was saying, I want it to be the center of the map so you go outwards and things get more difficult the farther outwards you go. And you know, maybe what you're saying, maybe it's not going to be too far away, but worst case scenario is what we have to think of here. And worst case scenario is let's actually run this and we'll see. Let's see what the map is. Or not that, let's run our actual level. So let's see what this map is. And we'll see how far from 0, 0 we would need to generate. Maybe this is just right at 0, 0. But I have a feeling this is okay. I actually did spawn somewhere. Oh my god, look at this shit. This is crazy. Wait, what the hell is this? What? This looks nothing like... Why is this so different? This doesn't look anything like what I've generated before. This mountain range looks fucking sick though. This would be a good zone border if I did zones or biomes. It'd be good for that. But what the hell? Let me look at the world map. Interesting. So here, see, here's the world map. I think technically, am I underwater right now? Technically, I mean, no, the water is like right there. Why did this generate like that? What did I do? One out of, I'm gonna say 1 trillion screenshot that. What do you mean? Oh, you mean screenshot the mountain? Is that what you're saying? But yeah, this is insane. Another thing I'll want to make sure of with the world map is I want the same amount of land for every generated world, because it's not going to be fair if you get like a shit seed that doesn't have very much land and therefore not very many zones. I want to make sure the amount of white basically is the same, or in a tolerable amount. And so yeah, I'm gonna need to be doing some massaging of this generated world map. Do you got sailboats? Not yet. I'm only one man, okay? I'm only one man, but yeah, eventually, I think that'll be like, if this game ever gets released, maybe I'll do like an expansion where sea water stuff is something I focus on, underwater and stuff. But yeah, it's not going to be a focus for anytime soon. This is fucking interesting. So I'm gonna click. I'm gonna go back to my game. So I should be able to spawn my character over here. I just want to see why the hell did this get generated like this, bro. The whole seed is like this. What the hell? Oh, there's a wolf. It didn't change my spawn location, or did it? Oh, that's where I was. I didn't clean up these chunks. This is so strange. I have no idea why this would be happening. Because I didn't change the... Oh, you know what? Where is this coming from? Something fucky's going on here. Someone's been fucksy-wuxying my code. And it may have been me. It may have been me. So I refactored the seed name. Did that fuck shit up? Seed is 1111. Let me go back to 0 and play here. Gin the world first. Use the spear trace from a random XY scene down and display the location so that the player. And what is this saying? And display the location to the player as their current location minus the location they spawn on. They don't need to know it's the editor 00. Keep it as. Yeah, but I want it to be the center of the map. Is what I'm saying, not necessarily 00 coordinate. I mean, they happen to. I'm just gonna match them up naturally, but I want it to be the center of the map. And to do that, I have to regenerate that texture, like I was showing. I have to, and that's why I was doing the way that I was doing. Is I have to regenerate the texture because I can't just move the texture over because then there's nothing on the side of it, right? I have to regenerate it. So that's why I want to do it that way. Yeah, what is happening here, man? Okay, so this is saying that world map is null here. Why though? Let's make sure it's not, because this is where I'm setting it here. Oh god. Let's just see, is this actually, what is happening here? Oh, I did live, that's why this is all fucky. Oh, I need to because I changed it. I hate this, dude. This is what I hate about working in C++. I feel like I'm a second-class citizen in Unreal Engine. Like, every time I touch a header file, I have to completely rebuild the engine. Do you have stream resolution settings enabled? I got a horrible connection here and it lags. God. Yeah, so I'm still pretty new to streaming. I don't exactly know what you're talking about. Like, can you change the resolution? I guess I don't. How do I do that? Because I'm looking on my stream and yeah, I only have the one. I'm streaming in 1440p, I guess. Do people do that, or do they stream in like 1080? Because I have a 2K monitor. That's what we're looking at. I don't know if that's like an OBS setting or a Twitch setting. Most people do 1080. Okay, so do I need to like downscale to 1080 in OBS? I guess. I don't know if that's something I can change midstream or not. Video. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I can change the base resolution and output resolution. They're both at 2K right now, or 1440. I gotta, yeah, because all these are grayed out and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break in a bit. I don't know when though, so I'll mess with that then. But I guess most people, do they change the base resolution, or do they keep the base resolution what their monitor is, and then they change the output resolution? Or do they do both? Yeah, maybe that's what I can attribute my lack of viewers to, is the resolution it's terrible. Laggy. I didn't have to, like, I noticed when I was watching back some of my early VODs, like, the text was very small on, like, in my coding in Writer, so I had to, like, increase that a little bit. I don't know, is it hard to see text and stuff on here because of the resolution? I guess maybe let me look at my stream on this screen. I mean, I could see it okay, but I guess I also have a 2K monitor, so maybe that's why I can see it well, and you guys maybe can't. There's, oh god, I fucking hate tutorials, to be honest with you. I hate following tutorials. Like, I just want to search something and get the answer. Okay, but let's see if this works now, because I've gotten rid of the live coding issue. Okay, see, now I've spawned in the middle of the ocean. This is what I was talking about, see. So this is the 0 seed. And like this is why I want to shift the texture over. Yeah, it's just ocean. Just ocean. Let's do mermaid shit. Like weird shit. I'm down. Yeah, so what I either just keep generating until so I'm going to get I can use one of these. Transform. I need to use this function here. Zero zero. Transform to world map coordinate. And so this is going to be vector 2D. Call this world map center. And I will need to stop accidentally fat fingering things to throw me around the editor, and I need to first, I need to generate it. I need to do the pixel data, or maybe rather before I do that, can you use minimum acre gen for viable maps? What is that? Is that a procedural generation strategy? And so I have my undo. Here we go. I just thought of it. What do you mean by minimum acre gen? It's like either I can generate all this amount of black-white data, or I can just spot check it and skip. I think I'll just spot check it. And let's create a function for, it's going to return a float, and essentially I'm going to take this stuff and put it into a function so I can do it repeatedly. And what do I want to call this? This is basically going to be like color to 0, 1. Does that make sense? I mean, Copilot actually kind of nailed that one right there. Okay, so I can do that repeatedly. Now, where there has to be a minimum amount of landmass for the map to generate, or it keeps generating seeds. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But what I'll need to do, measure in acres, hectares, or whatever is comfortable for you. So I can do you one better than that, and not better, but just easier than that. So what you're looking at here is this world map render target. This is the texture I keep showing. I'm reading the pixels, so I have an array of colors here. And what I do is I just add up the R, B, and G and divide it by the total amount that there can be. And then that way I get a number between 0 and 1, right? 0 is black in this case, 1 is white. And so all I need to do is iterate through this array of zeros and ones that I've created. It's called the world chunk height map. It's actually a 2D array, but regardless, I can just say, or maybe I can even have a running total. I'm just going to keep adding the values, or in other words, the amount of black-white. And if it gets to a certain threshold, then it's valid. If it doesn't, I'll generate another one. So that's exactly how I'm going to do that, or I'm planning to do it at least. But not going to do that for now. For now, I have my world map center, which I'm actually going to do the end here after this happens. And this will actually be a recursive function, I think. And I have my world map center. Let's actually do this. I just need to spot check the. I need pixel data dot size divided by 2, or dot num. I hate how in Unreal they use dot num function for array lengths. Like, let me do dot size or dot length or whatever. And then I'm going to reuse this color to 01. And I'm just going to say if color to 01 of the middle pixel. I may not even need this actually. Yeah, I don't think I'll actually need that. I just need this to be greater than 0. That's it. If it's greater than 0, it's valid. Or rather, maybe I should say less than or equal to 0. It should never be less than 0, but just in case. We need to return generate world map. We'll just do it again. Run the function again. And that way it'll skip everything below this. It'll recurse. We'll keep trying. And I am hoping that this will actually generate a new. We could get stuck in an infinite loop if this keeps generating the same number. I don't think it will. It might. Let me, to protect against this, I'm just going to create an int, and I'm just going to say num recursions. We'll just add that there, and I'll just say, yeah, just break out of it if it's too high. If I need more than, I'll do 100, actually. Then let me actually log it as well as the random world offset, just to make sure that those are different. Generate world map. I want to give it this world map offset as well as the number of recursions that I've done. Yes. Oh god, I touched a header file. Is this gonna fucking break now? I didn't make it a U property, so I'm hoping no. I've got to return some video tapes. What, you're checking out videotapes? What, are you going to the local box office? What year is it? Catch you dudes later. But thanks for hanging out, though. I'm joking around, but yeah, appreciate you hanging out. It was fun talking with you all. I'll be streaming back later. I'm going to take a break here in a little bit, maybe an hour or two. And yeah, I'll be streaming later, so yeah, come back and hang out sometime. Have fun returning your VHS tapes. God, live coding takes so long that I may as well just rebuild the editor. We failed. What's the issue here? Oh, yeah, I know what the issue is. I actually transformed this vector to a string. Alright, let's try that again. Another thing that we'll want to keep our eyes out for is to make sure that this world map is the same each time. Clear my log so I can see what it spits out. Uh-oh, okay. What did I do here? Fall off sides at world chord. So how far did this get? I made it to, yeah, so it's doing the same. Yeah. So that's the issue. So it did the same this RNG seed stream rather is giving me the same numbers each time. And I think it's just because I'm recreating the stream. Each time. So I'm thinking I can either pass it back into this function when it recurses so it gets a new one. Just be like, hey, if it's null, set it or something. Or if num recursions 0, set it. Let's do that. Or if num recursions equals 1, initialize that. What is this saying to me? It's not callable, but how do I just do f random stream? Yeah. Okay. If it's 1, we'll set it. And if that way we're, I think we'll actually get a new one if we do this. A new set of numbers here. But if this doesn't work, then I'm going to change to searching for the nearest landmass, and then adding that to the offset and regenerating the texture. So many LinkedIn requests here. Okay, then let's give it a shot. Okay, it looks like we're at land. Yep. So that pretty much worked. We'll have to check out the world map when I spawn in here. What does my map look like? Interesting. So how many recursions did I need to do? I needed to do 5 to get one, to get a map. Is this actually generating floats? It seems to be rounding the numbers quite nicely, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. So I can change these to floats, make it a little bit more random. We don't need that to be ints. Because I did f random range. I don't know why I would do n32 there. But yeah, that worked. Seemed to run reasonably fast. We are in a very landlocked place here. Let's go check. I want to check out this area here, so I'm going to go teleport over there. So there's some interesting little bays and stuff here. Look at that. That's kind of bad. I should turn off my mob spawning while I'm looking for this. That's a big ass freaking lake, and then there's I think there's probably an ocean over there. I'm gonna spawn over there now. That did not spawn me at the right spot, did it? try that again. What is happening here? I think because I fell through the world, it's having trouble actually putting me up there. Something I should definitely try and fix. Okay, let's see if that goes to the right location. That did seem to work that time. Yeah, there's that lake there, and then this is the ocean. So there's this cool island area there. And like, you can imagine like, if a player built like a base or a city over here, you could like dig out this terrain here. You know, get some ships through or something. Let's go to this island over here, see what it looks like. Boy, that is a small island for what it looks like on the map. Oh no, I clicked on the map. Oh Jesus, where's it taking me? Interesting. Check out this area. Yeah, this is really cool. So one thing I want to do is, like, if the terrain chunk is 0, let me add this to my to-do list here. So seeded world map, that is complete. Make sure world map 00 is on land. We're testing that right now. So I should do some new seeds to test. I want to flatten chunks at how should I word this? Like water locations. I'm entertained just checking out the landscape features of this seed, though. That'll be even more entertaining. This teleported me before the chunks generated. Should definitely work on a better like the way the chunks process and generate. I think I need to make it, because it's just what it's doing is just updating one chunk per frame, so that's not very fast when I want it to be. It is performant though. It doesn't take up very much frame rate. Where else do I want to check out? Maybe up in here? That did not teleport. Right there. The memory that I'm using is quite a lot. 17 gigs right now, and counting. That's another thing I need to do is release old chunks from memory. This is cool though. I want to generate in a higher radius so I can actually see more features. I'm testing this out. So I'm gonna actually, let's do a new seed. Or rather, I want to do this, let me run this again and make sure that it actually looks the same, the world map. Yeah, that looks the same. That looks to be the same one. Perfect. Okay, let's change my seed. You know we gotta try out 69. Oh, that's 68. 69. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. What does seed 69 look like? Dr. Elliott, hey, what's up? How's it going, man? What are you up to today, or what have you been up to? I have been up to actually making this world map to be seeded, which is what we're testing out now, and also making sure that every generated world map's 0, or center, is something that the player can spawn on. So I'm basically recursively generating these maps in a deterministically random way to finally find one that has one at 0, and it seems to be working, so we're good. You've been playing Dark and Darker. That's one I have yet to... So what's the lawsuit situation with that? I thought Nexon, like, shut him down at one point or something, but I guess it's going, back and going. It's a game I haven't played, but it looks fun. It looks fun. So yeah. I've been having fun just, like, teleporting around and checking out some of these landscape features. So I'm gonna go check out this little bay area here. I'm gonna teleport over there. Well, you're saying I got a ditch, so you know about ALS. I'm using the community ALS refactored. The lawsuit stuff's over, so Dark and Darker won. Then it sounds like. That's good. Poggers. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice looking bay. That thing is ancient. Okay, so let me show you. I don't know if. So I am using this plugin here. So this is actually an updated. You can see 3 weeks ago. This is a refactored version of it. It's completely in C++. This person rewrote it in C++, and it's like completely replicated and stuff. But to me, what it gave me out of the box was great. But having to work within it to make changes has been it's a lot to understand. But it's like, I don't know, what would I ditch it for? An animation system should never be dependent on the character. Why is that? Teach me. Like, but like, what would I'd have to make it all myself though, everything that's in here. Which is not something I want to do. And like, what do you mean by dependent on the character? Because like, yeah, it has a skeletal mesh that the animation blueprints are running against, but like, I could change that and change the bones, right? And then I just need to make sure that the animation system, these anim blueprints reference the right bones. So if that's what you mean by like dependent on the character, I think I get you. Violates encapsulation. It's very expensive. ALS is a very cool animation made by designer, but everything else is rough. Yeah, so I have a bone to pick with encapsulation. You know, it's, you know, just one of those programming methodologies that, you know, shouldn't be, I mean, as with any methodology, it shouldn't be dogmatically followed, but I think if you use too much encapsulation, you make things harder to read, honestly. But it's definitely, like, it's not like you shouldn't use it. If someone said I never use encapsulation, I would be more, that would be scarier than the opposite. You could just use the new animation game sample if you want a drop in place or use Lyra's animation system. I mean, I guess the thing that I like about ALS is that I mean, it looks very high quality, you know, when the player's running around and stuff, and it has all, like, you know, the sway, the rotation, the crouching, the animation blending and stuff like that. Whereas, like, when I look at some of that base game stuff, it all looks very out of the box, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks like they slapped a movement component on it and are just running an animation montage on it without doing any, like, blending or IK or anything like that. But I'm kind of bad at animation, so it's a system I've tried to get into and kind of struggled a little bit, so the less I can do of it, the better. Let's try a different seed. Let's check out a different seed here. We're gonna do seed 420, of course. We've checked, that was seed 69. Animation systems are one of my specialties. Okay, well, I hope you stick around so I can fucking ask you questions whenever I'm working on that shit. That and AI. So you mean like AI is in, like, you know, LLMs and models and stuff, or AI is in, like, gameplay? Like an NPC AI? Oh, this is an interesting one. It's like an entire side. So I'm like right on a coast, yeah. Let's check out, this is like, this looks like a little marshy. Oh, another thing. My main piece of advice is to just not use ALS. So have you tried to use it yourself? Or have you heard of other people using it? And, like, is this your opinion, or have you seen this elsewhere, I guess is what I'm asking. Another thing I want to do is, I want to find a way to adjust chunk height map based on world map black white values. That's what I want to do. So I just want to, like, lower the average. Because some of these, like, gray areas, I want to be lower in altitude. Let's check out this little island area. Yeah, I looked at ALS. It's very old. Which one have you looked at, though? Like the original plugin? Or like some of these, because there's a couple different refactor projects out there. And I'm sure the opinion is shared. There's other developers I've talked to who bring up the same points. If your animation system needs to use a character as not just directly a character, it's probably doing something wrong. I mean, it is a specific, like, I have the wolves and stuff in my game, and I've built, like, essentially I have a human class and a non-human class. And the human class I use ALS for on every single one. And the non-human class is more of a generic one with both lower quality blending and animations, and it's also, like, more performant and less expensive. What does your human class inherit from? It inherits from the ALS classes. And I specifically made that choice. I mean, like, maybe I'll have like a humanoid type character that, but like, I mean, if I never want to use, I mean, essentially it's just I mean, I say human, what I probably should name it is ALS character, right? I don't think I'll want to create a human that doesn't have the same skeletal structure. But if I do, yeah, I would create a new one. And I expect to create a new animation system if I were to do that. I guess to me it seems more weird that you would make an animation system that is not like, especially for your main, like your player character, like I would feel like you would want to make that animation system specific to the player so that it's as high quality as possible and not generic at all. I've made an animation system that looks as good or better than ALS without using anything other than a character. Yeah, I mean, that is something that I would love to see and understand how that works. I vaguely understand how ALS works. And yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot of like layering and blending and locomotion. It's all the whole animation stuff is very complicated, and like IK as well, very difficult to me at least. And that's just because I haven't used it very much. Also without using blend spaces. So what are you using to blend between animations and stuff? Is it all anim montages? Are you using anim blueprints? I guess you're saying not anything other than a character. So does that imply there's no anim blueprint? Using distance matching and inertial blending, but motion matching is kind of taking over. See, all these things are like so fucking over my head right now. It's like just more and more systems in Unreal Engine to learn. But I guess there was some new Unreal project that has motion matching examples or something like that. At Lyra's anim system. Yeah, I'll have to look closer at it. I've seen what Lyra looks like. Let me look at that. Let me like just pull up like a Lyra video. Oh god, it's showing like music videos. Okay, I'll just pull up a random video here.
Ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
It look, oh yeah, take a look at the new. Do you have like a link to the new example and stuff?
Check out the Unreal Engine 5 Lyra starter game demo that you can download for free. It is basically
Yeah, I mean this doesn't look bad at all.
shooter game template that you can use as the
I would need to look at it. This is kind of fast. Game animation sample. Is there a YouTube video of it? Game animation. This is directly from Unreal Engine, so this might be what I'm looking for. Is this made by the same guy that they hired from ALS to make? Because I know the guy who originally made ALS got hired by Epic to do a new system, right? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, like you're saying, ALS is old. This is the new stuff. Now, does he have a free plugin that you can install and get working pretty easily? Download the sample project now. So this is just showing all vaulting and stuff. It does look very good, though. I will say that. Yeah, you're right in that it looks better. Nice. Yeah, this I'll have to look into this at some point. That's a big refactor for what I've got going on. And I've had some troubles with, like, I wanted to blend in like hit and like when a character gets hit, and I was struggling to do that with ALS. So hopefully, so is this A, simpler than ALS? Is it B, more performant than ALS? And C, does it have like the same features as ALS? Like, obviously it has vaulting and climbing. Does it have rolling and crouching? Yes and yes. Okay, those are the answers I was looking for. That's awesome. Yeah, let me. I'm gonna bookmark this. This is a great. Thank you for this heads up. Someone mentioned it earlier in chat. But is this it? Thursday, June 13th. So this is hot off the press, huh? I've over 500 ready to go. Oh yeah, this is fucking great, man. Bookmark that in the game dev folder. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at this at some other time when I'm actually getting into that stuff. That'll be awesome to get working though. All right, Dr. Elliot, give me a seed number. Give me a seed number to try. I've tried 0, 69, and 420. 1. Okay, we're trying 1. I like the way you think. Uh-oh. Okay, so that was a great example because it didn't work. Let me clear my logs and try that again. So what I'm doing is like I generate that texture map, and then I check the center point. And if it's 0, or less than or equal to 0... Oh, does it have ragdolling? Does the new system have ragdolling? Because that's something I like about ALS as well. RIP. But yeah, I'm essentially just like recursing my generation function until I find a map that has a texture at 0, has terrain at 0. So that one didn't work. Why didn't that one work? That's not a complete setup, okay. Yeah, I did like the way the ALS thing did the overlays. So that's what I was using to equip like weapons and stuff. Just learn from it. Ugh, God, I have to learn. Animation is so fucking hard, man. I really value that you are good at this and have knowledge in it. It is something, like, you probably saw my weapon swings. Those were ones I tried to make myself in Cascadeur. Took me, like, weeks to fucking make. And so, that's why they look like that. It isn't really that hard, I promise. Oh, I don't know, you say that, but you don't take into account how potato-brained I can be. That's how ALS was supposed to be, but everyone took it and tried to make projects with it. Yeah, I mean, if you can figure this out, you can figure animation systems out. Yeah, I mean... Don't doubt that, but it's just gonna fucking take a while, man. It's gonna take a while for me to... It took me a while to understand the procedural generation stuff. I'm good at animation systems, not animations. Oh, I know they're two different things. I know what you're talking about. But what I'm saying is I'm bad at all of it. I'm bad at creating the animations. I'm bad at, incorporating that animation into the game and blending properly and all that stuff. I've just been, like, ripping animations from, like, Mixamo, honestly. So anything that gives me a bunch of free animations is awesome as well. But yeah, I need to find out why this thought... What's your goal with this game? I don't think I've heard you talk about it. So I'm not like, it'd be awesome to get this released or something someday. But like, if you were to ask me, hey, when's this coming out? I'd be like, ask me again in 5 years. Because I don't really expect it to get released. But it's just a hobby. I love doing game dev. I love learning this stuff. It's so fun. And I love playing games. I love making games. Love talking game design. What's good, what's bad. What's good execution, bad execution, stuff like that. And so, as far as like what do I want the game to be, I'm wanting so some of my big inspirations for games are like World of Warcraft, like vanilla WoW. That's originally what WoW was originally what taught me how to write code, actually, because all my friends at school were playing WoW, and my parents wouldn't pay for a monthly sub. So I had no idea what they were talking about. I wanted to be included, so I started getting on private servers, and I couldn't get my friends to play with me on these random private servers, which is kind of sketchy. So I get it. So I created my own private server, and that's how I was able to play with my friends. And I figured that out. I was probably like 13 or 14 years old when I did that, and maybe wrote. I was just following mostly tutorials at the time and stuff, but ended up writing like a few lines of code, just like change some values here and there, you know. So that's where it's like where my first line of code came from. But it's what taught me what a developer was and stuff like that. So that's what got me interested in it and followed it as a career. But yeah, so World of Warcraft, huge inspiration for me. Specifically Vanilla WoW. I don't like the newer versions of the game. But that RimWorld is one of my top played games of all time. I have like 1,500 plus hours in it. Hades is a great game. I love roguelikes. I love Legend of Zelda, and I love Civilization. Those are like my top games, right? And I kind of want to blend all those things together. I want an RPG, colony sim, roguelike is what I'm going to try to make. And it's a game that I want to play. So I'm just going to work on it and make something that I want to play so that I can play it. And if it gets to a point where people are interested in it, it picks up traction, you know, maybe, you know, probably not going to happen, but if I get enough viewers and subs and stuff to quit my job and just work on this full time, that would be sick. That would be awesome. So, you know, every follow helps me get this game made. That's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, that's the goal. The goal for right now is to figure out why this line should be. It essentially should be saying that the center coordinate of the map, if it's less than or equal to 0, generate a new map, and this shouldn't be happening, essentially. I'm about to unfollow for not using brackets, though. It's a one-liner. What do you mean? Are you serious? You want me to put brackets here? Really? You want that? I am such a slut for follows right now, so maybe I'll do that. I think what's grosser about this, though, or more gross, is not using camel case. I fucking hate that Unreal Engine capitalizes everything. I think that's the worst offender. I also prefer my brackets like that. But Unreal Engine, it's not the convention. Oh god, no. You want brackets on the same vertical column. I get it, but this is just so much. That is true. It is, because like, isn't raw C++ snake case, which is like the worst, right? It's literally an extra keystroke. It goes camel case, Pascal case, snake case. That's the tier. Have I read their coding standards? No, I haven't read them. I've just picked up on them from looking at the engine code. And then, of course, I'm using Rider, so out of the box, it kind of just like, it has its linter set up to match theirs. But yeah, I hate how long they do their lines, though. You can see mine's, I can fit 2 panes of code on the same window. If color201 is less than or equal to 0, generate a new one. And so let me log this out. Brace wars are foul. Epic has a long-standing usage pattern of putting braces on a new line. Please adhere to that usage. From Epic themselves. Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that. Sue me. I mean, I don't mind it. I've gotten used to it now. And I get why putting them on, you would want to do it, to put them on the same line. Because visually you can match it up easier to the bottom one. But I don't think I don't want to take up what I don't want is to take up 3 lines of code for one line, for what could be one line, you know. So that's why I do that. Too many braces makes it hard to read. Don't even get me started on Python though. Python's the worst when it comes to syntax. Yeah, so what would that, I'm wondering if I'm not getting the proper center, but like this is either getting the center or like one off from the center. So, and there's not even a land chunk in sight. So like, why the hell? Closest is right there, which would be like that coastline. Yeah, let's we'll run the live coding on that and see what it spits out. It said it was 0.3. Look at this terrain chunk. Oh, you know what? I am printing the amount of white there is on the pixel. That I think actually my player pointer is probably covering it up. But there is probably a single pixel here with water on all four sides. And so what's happening, if I click on this terrain chunk, I can see what sides I've generated the fall-off maps for, top, bottom, left, right. That means the chunk to the left, top, right, and bottom are all water. And so it's put the fall-off map on all sides. So that's why that's spawning there. So I'm going to need to check for that. Make sure it's just not a single white pixel that I'm spawning on. What a good seed you picked. That's crazy. That's crazy you picked a seed with an edge case on it. What should I do here? I mean, I could just manually check each one. I kind of want to, I should check that there is I'll make a function is valid spawn pixel. What this is going to do, I want black, whites. Just early return there. Guard. I also need to check top, bottom, left, and right. Do I want to pass in the float here? I'm gonna pass in the pixel data instead. Change this to like as valid spawn pixel. Yeah, and I'll just need to check each direction. I think I want to make it to check all 8 directions, is what I think I want to do. Just to make sure it's like a full chunk. I should make this probably a recursive function as well. Yeah. I think changing this back to is valid spawn pixel. If yeah, okay. And if I get to the end, it'll be return true. I'll just check for +1, -1, and then I will need to check for plus map size as well. Plus world map render target size X. Yep, that's exactly what I want to check for. Because that'll be, if I'm thinking about the 2D, the array, because this is a 1D array and I'm thinking in 2D coordinates, so this coordinate plus, yeah, so I want to do this. I'm going to do this actually 3 times. So size X +1, size X -1. And I want to do the same with minus here. So it'll be the top 3. This is bottom 3. This is left and right. Oh wait, but it's gonna check literally every pixel if I continue to recurse through this. Why did I think that was gonna work? Why did I think that was gonna work? Yeah, that's what I want instead. Okay, let's change all these then. Alright, I think this will be what I want. If not valid spawn pixel, it is less than or equal to 0, or if right, left, top, top right, top left, bottom, bottom right, bottom left. Okay, let's see how that works. Dude, my live coding takes longer and longer the more I work on this project. I need to use more like forward declarations, I think, to speed that stuff up. That was forward declarations were something I didn't understand when I first started writing Unreal C++, so probably a mess of imports here. What is happening here? Okay, we'll have to rebuild the editor, I suppose. Let's look over this code here. So I think one thing that I'll need to make sure of is one pixeldata.num. It should be 128. Or no, it shouldn't be. It should be 128 times 128. But that should give me the center, I think. Maybe I'm off by one there? Maybe I'm off by one? But if I'm checking each adjacent coordinate, it won't matter. But I also need to make sure this is the proper... Because size X should be 128. I think I'm doing the right math here to get the adjacent. Size X and size Y should be the same, so that shouldn't matter. Something I'll have to keep in mind, though, if this doesn't work. And so we were using seed 1 to generate that map, and it regenerated the map twice. It generated the map twice. And it was on the second one that it thought that we had a valid spawn location, but we didn't. Right, so what seed are we on? Seed was 0. Let's save that to 1. What on earth happened here? I saved. Found precision loss while converting matrix to GPU format. What the hell would that have happened from? Uh-oh. This doesn't look good. Yeah, okay, still didn't work. Yeah, so it's still probably only generated twice. Num, or world map. Yeah, it's still only generated twice. So my shitty code did not work. If color 201 of this index is valid spawn pixel, I'm passing in the middle pixel. I already had logged what it was, which was, it was like 0.3. So this doesn't get reached. It goes here. If is valid spawn pixel is false. If it's not a valid spawn pixel, generate a new world map. Why would that think? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna remove my cursor on the world map so I can actually see the map a little bit better. Let's just like get rid of that. Spawn it at 0, 0, just to make sure it gets out of the way. What's the world map look like? Bro, there's nothing fucking there! What on earth? It says there's a pixel... Okay, so I'm gonna have to... We're gonna step through this, alright? Okay, we're up to date. I hope Writer gives me the information I need here. Can I read pixel data? Yes, I can. What is my index? 8? Okay, I'm not going to be able to click through 8,000 things. Oh, I'm going to have to create variables for all this, and I need some better debugging tools. Like stuff I build myself, is what you're saying? I mean, I think I just need to log some of this stuff out. Either that or I can, because I probably should make the world map zoomable. Something along those lines. Let's just log here. Let's just see what this says. See if this will be enough information for us to go off of. Wait, what are you complaining about here? Wait, what is that complaining about? Sure. Okay, let's see what those get logged out to be. World map, yes, clear that, stop, and start. We got 0, and then the first one will be 0.3. It checked a lot. Why did it check so many times? Oh, because I'm using it in every... Yeah. Okay. So really the next 8... I mean, it's saying that it's around. I think I need to increase my threshold from 0. Because, like... So, this will be the first one. This will be 0, 0. And then the next 8. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the surrounding ones. And so... I think I need to increase my threshold. I should search for one that's 1, not necessarily. Let me change to that. Rather than searching for one that's not 0, let's just try and find one that's 1. That's 1, and so this might not ever happen. Because I'm searching for one, not only a pixel that's 1, but that's also surrounded by 1s, and that may be... Yeah, I don't think that's the move, actually. I'm going to change this to something like... We'll just do 0.5. I think that'll be more successful. It's very strange though that it's picking a pixel that is surrounded by other non-zero pixels. Yeah, this looks better. How many times did we recurse? We recursed 11 times to find this one. And of course it's going to naturally take more times. Okay. Oh no, I teleported somewhere. Oh. There's one wolf on this island. How did you get out here, bro? I'll put you out of your misery. Thank you. Thank you. But see, this is what I would expect. This is what I would have expected that 00 pixel chunk to look like. Is something like this. Because it was non-zero, but it was surrounded by ones that were zero. Or this was non-zero surrounded by ones that were all non-zero as well. But those, I guess, had enough fall-off maps generated on it that it just made it into, like, one of these tiny little islands. So let's put my cursor back on the map here. Where should we teleport? What should we check out here? What looks interesting? I'm thinking this little phallic-shaped island is interesting, and not for the reason you think. I swear I'm not. It's an interesting landmass, okay? Okay, I seem to have spawned in water. Huh. That looks quite different. Oh no. Like, that looks so different from what's on the map. Yeah, and like this right here is supposed to be this thing. It's like, it's because of the fall-off map that I'm applying to each chunk. It's like basically slicing the pixels in half. You can think of it that way. Or more than that. What is this? My player controller's tick function. Oh, this is processing the nameplates. And what was the error? Blueprint runtime error. Attempted to access. It was being garbage collected. Interesting. This is one that's never happened before. I think pretty easy to fix though. I'll just say like if actor yeah, just skip it if it's pending. Is valid? Is that a better one? Is valid low level or is data valid? I've seen is valid before. Is pending kill pending deprecated. Okay, good tip, good tip. I think is valid. Oh, okay. I thought I had these all my actors being cleaned up from my spawned actors array when they were dying or getting destroyed. So I guess maybe there's just some lingering things happening there. But I think we've probably fixed our always spawn on landmass problem. I might cross that off the list here. Where is my list? Make sure world map 00 is on land. I'll try a few more seeds, but I think I'm going to call that good Flatten chunks at water locations. This is just so I can get rid of those random random little islands out in the water. I just don't need to generate those. Honestly, I might just not generate a chunk in water at all, just to save on performance for now. Yeah, this will be a complicated one. Adjusting the chunk height map based on the world map black and white values. So like a more gray value would be lower on average, so it'll kind of like get higher in altitude towards the center of islands and stuff. Okay, new seed. New seed. You wanted me to try 2 next. Think you'll need this for later. Okay, I'll check that out here in a second. Okay, I see what this is. Yeah, you're right. Because I keep naming things like my everything or my project. I was thinking that like maybe I should just come up with a name for the game that has the acronym MY. You know what I mean? So I don't have to change everything. Well, dude, you are on fire with the seeds here. Look, I mean, look at this edge case, right? Look at the. This is hard mode right here. Huh. Okay. So I guess the move here to fix something like this from happening. I guess to fix something like this from happening, I would need to kind of calculate a running total of... I'll just take my 0, 1 values and like keep a running total of those as I traverse around the 0, 0 point and make sure that number is high enough. So that I don't spawn on like some random island out in the middle of the ocean. I'm wondering how many times did this recurse? 7 times. So yeah, if I just like, I could go in like a spiral. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what order I go in, but just like get farther and farther out from the spawn location, and you know, come up with a threshold for how far out I want to check. Like, how big do I want the island to be? I'll come up with like a radius number, and I have to iterate from 0 to, or rather from 1 to that number, and then just check the. Oh god, that's gonna be a pain in the ass to write. That's almost like a leak code question. Yeah, I can picture it in my head, but writing it sounds like a pain in the ass. So yeah, I am not done. I am not done with that one. Oh no, I am done with that one. This is the one I'm not done with. How often does this happen? Okay, we're gonna try seed 3. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't want to write that algo right now. I just need to take a break from streaming in general. I've been sitting in this chair for a fucking while. This one looks good. Oh my god, look at this map. Yeah, so another thing. Do I have this on the list? I want to make sure each generated map has the same amount of land. Has a similar something within a range, a similar amount of land. Because this is barely any water at all. Because like it would suck to get like the opposite of this, or there's like very little land and you have very little places to explore. Whereas this one is just a massive landmass. This one might be too much land. Yeah, another thing that would be more fun that I want to get into, and I think biome stuff. That is something that's very exciting to me. And essentially what I want to do is I want to do something. Let me switch over to my display level here and I'll show you what I'm planning to do for this. So I'm going to change this to this little Voronoi. Oop. So I'm generating this little Voronoi map, and I'm planning to use this for the edges of biomes and stuff. And you can see I've kind of disconnected some of the edges because I wanted to get some more interesting shapes. But something like this, maybe I'll just use another texture, Voronoi texture, like I've already done for the world map, and just kind of layer that on top of it and then draw some edges. And so I think each of these will be like a separate biome or something on the map, if it lines up that way. But yeah, that's what I'm planning to do with that. Noise is cool. Noise is cool. Oh, I wanted to try a different seed. Hang on, hang on. Stop, stop, stop. I want to try seed. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the quintessential unit test integer. Okay. So it would be really cool if I could turn areas like this into some sort of swamp or marshy type area. Because they're very light in color. Like, it's very white up here. So I'm picturing this top left to be higher altitude, and this to be lower altitude. Let's teleport over there to take a look at what it take a look at what it looks like. Yeah. So is that... Oh, 0, 0 is all the way over there. Which is like up here. Doesn't seem that far away when I'm zooming around in the editor, but when I'm walking on the character it seems like fucking ever away. So here's where my character is. Got like this little lake area. Player could easily dig this out if they wanted to. Check out this section over here. Let's go right there. Oh no, I clicked on the map. All this stuff's still hanging around in memory. There it goes. Goodbye. New seed. Okay, we're gonna do 420, 69, of course, of course. I mean, most of these 0-0s are looking pretty good. Uh-oh. Here's one that's bad. And this actually, it would be a valid chunk. But it's a coastline chunk. Oh, no. What's the map look like? Oh, yeah. Interesting, interesting. So, I mean, that could be okay as long as I make, like, as long as I made water travel, like, accessible, low level. I mean, I think something like this could be fine. Okay, I think it is break time for me, so I'm gonna stop streaming. I'll maybe stream sometime later today, in a few hours, at the very least. But yeah, thanks for everyone who stopped by. I had a lot of chat interaction today, so that was fun. Um, yeah, so anyone watching who hasn't followed already, I would super, super appreciate a follow to get to my goal of becoming an affiliate. And yeah, Dr. Elliott, thanks for hanging out with me, entertaining me, making this an actual fun stream to watch. So appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Take care, everyone. See you later.